So as Intel's much awaited DG1 graphics card are into the pipeline, we have also started seeing some excitement between us consumers, between us nerds, between us PC enthusiasts. Now, well, I would say like those DG1 specifies for desktop GPU one as it's their first desktop GPU after years, I would say, because earlier Intel used to make graphics card for supercomputers and data centers, but I never believed they made a graphics card for gaming consumers. But okay, well, whatever. But if we continue further below, so the thing is that Raja Koduri, who is the head of Intel's graphic division right now, who used to be heading Intel AMD's Radeon graphics division for years before joining Intel, has tweeted a photo of a GPU die. Now, the photo is like really big. Like okay, honestly, like it's massive. Like you could be seeing that photo on your screen, and it's really big. Now the thing is like this GPU comes with like some sort of exceptions, and the exceptions are these graphics card will not work with AMD processors. These will be OEM exclusive. There would be a very special BIOS required to run with like very specific Intel CPUs, and those CPUs would be most probably like 9th and 10th generation processors, and these would be like really low powered graphics card. Now the thing is like right now two graphics card has been announced for low powered, I would say, and those are like Iris Xe and Iris Xe Max. So let's talk about both of them side by side. So both of them are based on 10 nanometer super fin process, I would say, and both of them have 4 gigabytes of LPDDR4X memory. Now that's something really new in the graphics card section, because in graphics card the memory that's usually used is GDDR, like whatever. So that memory is specifically made for graphics card, and this is like LPDDR4X, which if I am right, it's used in mostly phones, like your mobile phones, your cell phones. So the memory would be having a 128 bit of band bus width with a bandwidth of 68 gigabytes per second. Now the Iris Xe graphics card would be having a 1700 plus megahertz of clock, whereas Iris Xe graphics card will be having a clock of 1650 megahertz. Now the Iris Xe is a TDP, has a TDP of 30 watts, which is a desktop graphics card, whereas the Iris Xe Max has a TDP of 25 watts, which is a mobile laptop graphics card, you would say. And well, both of them are PCIe 4.0 graphics card, but the Iris Xe is based on 16x connection, so that it could be settled into your I would say like PCIe slot of a motherboard, whereas Iris Xe Max is a PCIe 4x slot, like 4.0 4x, so that it could be used in your laptops. Like I believe like laptops still have like 8x bandwidth only, so that's something only present in the laptops right now. Now both of these graphics cards aren't actually made for keeping gaming in mind. These are much essentially the alternatives for Nvidia's GT 710 or GT 1030, and I would highly recommend this graphics card if you are trying to build a HD PC, like a home theater PC, because these graphics card has a really low power consumption, so you can just like check them in if they are available for normal consumers, because Asus will be making these GPUs with a fanless version, so I believe like Asus would be making them available for like normal consumers also. So yeah, like HTPC, because they also have like new AV1 encoders, so well, like they would be providing some sort of like future preferability with media consumption, because it's something that's announced by Intel like really soon now. But okay, moving on forward, those tiles, now the die that was like spotted was a 2-tile Intel Xe HPC GPU made with a 3D stacking technology that's only developed by Intel in-house, and the technology is named Fovear 3D stack technology or something similar to it. And well, let's talk about the graphics card. There are like 3 HPC graphics cards that are showing up in the listings, that they are a 1-tile version, there's a 2-tile version, there's a 4-tile version. Now well, what essentially they are like, let me clear them right now. Like tile, like consider them as a card, like the stack of playing cards. So 1 tile is a 1 card, 2 tile is 2 cards stacked upon each other, 4 tile are 4 cards stacked upon each other. Now if each card has 1,000 cores, so 1 tile GPU will have 1,000 core, a 2 tile GPU will have a 8,000 core, whereas a 2,000 core, 3 tile GPU will have a 3,000, or 4 tile GPU will have 4,000 core. So like these scale that well or not, that would be something that would be like we would be able to like assess in the reviews. I would say we would be able to assess in the reviews. But if we talk about those graphics card specs that we are seeing, so the 1-tile GPU will be having 4098 cores with a 12.2 teraflops of computing power at 1.5 gigahertz of frequency with a 150 watts of TDP. That's something really acceptable, I would say. And it would be having a 512 execution units. So to keep things in perspective, for Intel, one execution unit consists of 8 cores. Now if we talk about the 2-tile GPU, they would be having 192 cores with a 20.48 teraflops of computing power at the speed of 1.25 gigahertz, which will be having 300 watts of TDP, and it would be around 1024 execution units. Whereas the 4-tile GPU, there isn't any 3-tile GPU by Intel lineup till now. The 4-tile GPU will be having 16,384 cores with 36 teraflops of computation power and a 1.1 gigahertz of clock speed with 400 to 500 TDP. Like that's something we are like still ranging for, because the TDP isn't confirmed like what would be the range of the TDP exactly, and it would be having around 2084 execution units, something near to that. And well, as we have discussed about the tiles, now let's discuss about die shot that you are seeing. Now you are seeing a well labeled diagram of the die shot on your screen right now. So as we can see that the computing units are made on Intel's in-house 7nm process, which is something really good, and the two compute units are connect side by side with using Intel's Rambo cache that's based on Intel's 10nm process. And the memory that you are seeing right now is like HBM2 memory, which is something really good, I would say, because at least the memory bandwidth won't be an issue for Intel if they are not using Nvidia's GDDR6X, that special X factor with Micron they done whatever. Now the IOTIs that they are present there, they are based on TSMC 7nm process. So Intel has started outsourcing their manufacturing to TSMC, which is something really good, but still sometimes controversial. But still I would say I would appreciate Intel for this bold move of shifting their production to TSMC and doing something really great here. But okay, now if we talk about my opinions, I would honestly say I'm really hopeful for Intel for both CPU and GPU, as if they proven to be competitive in the market, while in next couple of generations we could see some really good competition in the market that would force other companies like AMD and Nvidia to bring down their prices, which would be finally something really good for us consumers, as there would be more price to performance ratio, more powerful graphics card available at a cheaper price. And it would be just really great, because just imagine if there are 3 players in the GPU market, then you could have essentially a bit more stocks, I would say, because right now you can't buy anything available. So you would be having essentially some more stocks. The market is proven to be market will be competitive, so price to performance, as I already said, would be better. So that's all for today, guys. If you like this video, please like and share and comment down below what you think about this step, and please subscribe to our channel and for more such content. Till then, thank you, bye bye.